Hi guys, it's Lewis. Just a wee heads up. I've just edited the episode and listened back, and this one's a bit heavy at times. Talks a wee bit about mental health. Talks about mental health. So it might not be the vibe for everyone. Just a heads up. Alright guys. Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Crack Podcast, and it has been a while. It has been a while. It's been, I reckon, 60, 75 days. It's been too long. Hello. I'm back. How are you? How have you been? Behaving, I'm sure. Looking after yourself, of course. Okay, now, right. Okay, I'll get right into it. Where have I been? Well, I've been here, in my flat. I've been at work. That's been about it. Where have I been mentally? That's the story. It's not good. Okay, right, alright. So, I've been putting off doing the podcast for a while. And, very flatteringly, that's a word, I've had people in person. Hello, you know who you are. And I've had messages as well. Hello. Which I've responded to. Asking where I am. Where's the podcast? Well, not demanding, just, gently reminding, hoping I'm okay. Okay, now, I'm fine. I'm all good. But what's going on? What has been going on? Okay, enough suspense. It all started. Basically, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I noticed my hand was shaking. Not shaking as in like, hello, how are you? Not a handshake. I was on my desk here, or I was at work, and it was just shaking. Just, like a jitter. Better watch out for that. Could be low sugar. Could be something else. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the coffee that I'm drinking. Because I did sort of back on it. I do drink a lot of coffee. So I stopped drinking, my favourite hot beverage. That's fine. And I thought I'd give it a while, but the shaking didn't stop. It wasn't getting in the way. It's like, if you ever see my handwriting, it always looks like I shake, but I could still write. Okay, I could still type. I could still use my phone. White arse. I could still do everything you need to do with your hand. Okay, hands. Plural. Got the left and the right one. And that was fine. And, yeah, the coffee didn't stop it. So, I thought, I'll keep an eye on that. That's weird. And then, this all sounds very dramatic, but basically, it's all in my head. It's a mental health thing. The way I would describe it, if you picture your head, your skull, where your brain is, to me, cars going past, to me it was like a little thought. If you picture it like a little worm, a little wisp of smoke, just crept in, alright? It's little. Now, I can't tell you what these thoughts are. I have told Charlotte, I've told the doctor, and I've told my counsellor. So, but that thought crept in, just a little, and it came. And I was aware of this thought, and I was like, that was weird. Shook it off. Smothered it. Stubbed it out like a, dirty cigarette. That's fine. But then, like a little ember in that cigarette, it kept glowing just a wee bit. It was in there. It was in my head. And it reignited. And again, I was aware of this thought. It's weird. It's weird. And then it sounds wild. Felt like it was bouncing around inside my head, like those old DVD loading screens. if you remember them, if you're old enough to remember them. Basically, if you hadn't played your DVD or put the DVD in, this DVD player logo would come up, and it would around the screen. And sometimes it would hit the corner dead on. It's perfect. And so that's what this thought was doing around my head, trying to shake it off and go about life. And I was really trying, and Charlotte noticed my mood dipped terribly. I became very quiet, if you like, just shut off. Like I was in a zombie mode. I was still there, the lights were on, but nobody was home, and this thought was just, well, I'd say thoughts, they would build. If I thought about them, they'd suddenly whoomph, took off, like a train, sort of like squeeze them down to a smaller, and they would, get controllable. And the only time I didn't have them was when I was at work, because I had to focus solely on what I was doing, and that was fine. And then I wasn't sleeping because you'd lie in your bed and they bounce around. So this is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy. And I told Charlotte about them. I let her know, look, this is going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to work on it. I don't know how to, but I'm trying to just smacking the pop card here. Trying to work on this. And they wouldn't go away. And then the more I tried not to think about them, I would think about them. And then if I didn't even think about them, I would think, God, I've not thought about them in a minute. And it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And they kept bouncing around, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't do podcasts. I couldn't write. I couldn't function. Like, these thoughts were just, honestly, like dirty weeds or something just going through my head, and I couldn't stop it. And I thought I was going mad. I thought I was genuinely going insane. And like I said, when I was at work, I zoned in to my work, and that was fine. And then it was a night shift, and I was on a desk at the far end of the room. Basically, I was a little bit away from everybody else, and they got in. I was working, and then again, like fucking like smoke under a door or something like that. They got into my head, and they took off, and my legs started shaking. I thought I was going to be sick, and just to my supervisor, look at I have to go home. I'm going to be sick, and my temperature shot up. My face was all flushed, and I went home and I sat by the toilet for ages, and nothing came up. Maybe because I thought it was food poisoning or something. Because it was this sudden, oh, I'm going to vomit. I never did. But I went home and told Charlotte, and she was like, well, what happened? I was like, there was that was going on. I didn't make that noise to her, but that's why I'm explaining it to you. And she's like, Lewis, just talk to somebody. Okay, I will. So, went to bed. It's hard to sleep because when you lie in the dark, eventually shut off. The next day, I phoned my GP, and I didn't know what to say, because I thought I was going insane. Basically, it was like no control over my thoughts. And usually I'm in control of my emotions, I'm in control of my thoughts, I'm in control of, everything. I'm not a control freak in that sense, but it's that sense of, if I don't want to think about something, I don't think about it. If I want to do something, I go and do it. And I don't mean like a spoiled child. I just mean like I have an awareness and a sense and comprehension, and I can act on this, But these couldn't stop, and it was really weird. So I phoned the GP, and the girl answered, the reception girl, and she, how can I help? And I said, hi there, it's me. So, I gave her my phone name. Can I talk to somebody regarding mental health? And she said yes, certainly, of course. Took me through some questions and stuff like that, and that was fine. And then she asked me if, she apologised and I've asked it on the phone as well. It's not an easy question. She said, I have to ask, sorry. Are you thinking about taking your own life? Now, I had no intention of taking my own life. However, guys, don't worry. This isn't as dark as it has to be. Those thoughts became so constant. There was a few days. It was my days off where I did nothing else besides have those thoughts in my head. If I was prepping dinner, that's what I wasn't focusing on what I was doing. I was aware of those thoughts. And the only time I got peace from them, if you want to use the word peace, the only time they stopped was when I was asleep. And that was after struggling to get to sleep, because I would lie there. And there was a realization of, look, that only stops when I'm sleeping. That means they'll stop when I'm dead. And I want them to stop. I could speed that up, I could always kill myself. Now, I never, whoa, no. I had no intent. There was never any intention of me taking my own life. There's suicidal, what was it? Ideation and intention. They're different things. They are, God, yeah, whoa, heavy, guys, heavy. They are very different things. I mean, you've probably been there yourself. You're in school. Oh, I've got homework tomorrow. Oh, I'll kill myself. That doesn't mean you really want to kill yourself. That's just where your mind goes as a dramatic, So, like, when the girl asks, you thinking of killing yourself? No, I mean, it's entered my head, but there's no... I've not gone out and bought a shitload of paracetamols or fucking 10 foot of rope or anything like that. There's nothing... Whoa! Nothing like that. But it's scary how quickly that entered the picture as a... You know what I mean? Like, with these thoughts, and then the way they build and they build and they build and they build, and they just snowball. And they're heavy and they're thick. So 2 hours later, I was sitting in front of the GP. So as much as the NHS gets slated, I phoned and I said, look, I need to talk to somebody about my mental health. And then not even 3 hours later, I'm face to face with a doctor. And I told him everything. Just, if you're going to lie to your doctor, what are you doing? So I told him absolutely everything. And he told me that is anxiety. What? He goes, yeah, and he, interlocked his fingers together, and he was like, yeah. So what's basically happened is it's clamped to those thoughts, and it's an anxiety thing. That's what's going on. And the shaking, that's an anxiety thing, and that was almost a sort of panic. It was an anxiety attack I had at work. That was like a response. But it's an anxiety thing, and it's clamped to those thoughts. Oh man. Whoa, I thought I was going mad. Like, I thought I was gonna end up in a fucking straitjacket or something, getting locked away, and I was gonna be a burden to everybody for the rest of my life. Because if you've ever done drugs, so if you've okay. I'm assuming you, listener, have been drunk before. Okay, and that doesn't happen just like that. You have a drink and it goes down smooth and you enjoy it. You have another one. You have too many, and then you sort of you descend into that state of drunkenness. Your mindset changes and woo, everything's loosey goosey, baby. Everything changes. It's the same with smoking cannabis. Now, if you take a drink, take a lungful, comes back up. You smoke the joint gradually, and again, you feel that sort of do. Your sensory changes, your mind frame starts to get a bit cozier, fuzzier. It's like slowly slipping into a warm bath. Now, if you hit a bong, that hits you like a bus, okay? That is a sudden change. And then every time, don't lie, every time you do, you have that moment of, will this be forever? No, it'll wear off, but it's such an overwhelming change of mindset immediately. Everything just, whoa. I can't, imagine if it was like this the rest of my life, that would be horrible. So you Google it on your phone. Will this last forever? No, no one has ever had this. What happened the first? That's what it was like in that mindset. I'm like, oh, what if this just lasts forever? And it didn't. I'm better already. But the doctor, he prescribed me medication, and that was that was fine. So he tells me that I'm anxious. He says I've got anxiety. All right, cool. Thank God, I thought I was going nuts. Here, take these. And you wrote me a prescription. Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. You're the doctor, whatever. And then he tells me, by the way, they may, to begin with, as your body adapts, cause involuntary loose stools. Doctor, you just told me that I'm anxious and now that I may shit myself at any moment. That doesn't really go together. Okay, anyway, so I'm on the medication. I haven't shat myself. Touch wood. Belly's fine, actually. There's been no spikes or anything like that. It's been okay. So I'm on that to balance the chemicals out in the old brain there. And he wanted me to come back in 2 weeks after taking the first run of them, if you like. Runs, diarrhea. No, alright, grow up. And that was fine. So I was going to go back in 2 weeks, and then he would see about going forward, because if you take medication for mental health issues, it's like taking steroids for your muscles. Okay? Now, what do you mean it's bad? No. Just, for example, I can go to the gym and work out, and gradually I'll get stronger. Okay? You can do that with your mental health. You can check in on yourself. You can, do what you have to do, and it will have positive benefits. Same as going to the gym. If you want quicker results at the gym, you're going to inject some of that shit into your muscles. But you still have to go to the gym and put in the work. Okay? You take the steroids, but you still have to go and flex the muscles. Now, if you want to improve your you improve your mental health, you take the medication, and then you still have to address why it's there. Okay, so you want to come back in 2 weeks and see if I, make sure I'm shitting myself every fucking day or spiraling, having dark thoughts, anything like that. And then we would discuss the next steps, which would be talking to somebody or anything like that. So that's fine. Well, I don't remember if it was that night or the next night, but I had a full-on anxiety attack at home in front of Charlotte. Like, she saw me spiral. And like, fucking saint that she is, the patience she had, she was okay with it. And there was me, I was like apologizing, like, I'm sorry to see this, and I'm going through that. I wasn't like bawling and slamming my fist into the floor, but it wasn't me. And she was so patient, like, no, it's fine. This is like you're okay. Relax. It's all in your head. It's wild. It is crazy. But she was fine with it. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll take my pills, which I just realised I haven't fucking taken my one today. I better go on that. And that was fine. All good. It's just smother those feelings down. And then it happened the next night. So fuck. Okay. So basically I couldn't wait the 2 weeks to go back and see the doctor. So I looked up, a friend of mine had sent me a link a while ago for private counselling, because he was self-aware enough to know that he had to go and talk to somebody about concerns. So I went back into the WhatsApp and I found the link, and I found the local counsellor lady, and emailed the way the thing I went through is, you don't request a certain person. You contact somebody and you explain, here's what's going on. I'm fucking intrusive thoughts bouncing around. It feels like they're, smothering me. I can't focus. All that sort of stuff. And they got back in touch and said, would you like to come talk to this one? I said, yeah, cool. I went along and it was fine. It was absolutely fine. It was fine. Like, one session already there, it was like a total weight off, just talking about everything. We just sat opposite each other in these comfortable chairs, and if you've ever seen like therapy in a film, well, it wasn't like I lay on a was a chaise-longue. It wasn't like I lay there and she was like, tell me about your mother. It wasn't like a Sigmund Freud psychoanalysis thing. We just sat in comfortable chairs opposite each other. Sort of like The Sopranos, but I'm not a cool gangster. Well, I say cool. It's a fucking low life. It's a great show. So we just spoke. Well, I spoke. Every now and again she would ask me a question and I would just, again, like with the doctor, just be honest. Just woof, everything. And I'm going to go back. See, it wasn't cheap. It's like £90 a session, but the way I see it, it's like investing in yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna look after yourself. So that's where I am, guys. That's where I've been. Okay, and I'm sorry that it's been so long, and I'm sorry I've not been on the thing, but not been myself. I've not felt like myself. Sorry. Yeah. Mental health, though, sneaks up on you. I thought I was doing all right, and it wasn't the job. It wasn't the job. It wasn't PTSD or anything like that. Some of the horrendous shit I get at work. I don't know how much I can talk about, but when I was a call handler, there was, there's one call that stands out to me. Well, there's a few calls that fucking stand out to me, but there was one. I can't go into too much detail, so I won't. But there was a guy threatening to kill himself, and he was serious, and he was on the phone and spoke to him for ages, over an hour. Over an hour, we were just chatting, and the way the calls work was everything's scripted. If you phone for an ambulance, it's not that call handler deciding if you get an ambulance or not. It's you have to answer their questions, and it goes into that system, and they're all preset questions. And it's no different if somebody phones in threatening suicide, and if somebody phones in with chest pain, somebody phones in with breathing, somebody phones in with a dart in their eyeball. You ask the certain questions for each incident. They're designed by professionals. So when the guy phoned in with his suicide threat, and I asked him all the questions that were scripted. And then if they're legitimate, if you have, it comes down to the initiative. If you believe that they are serious in that moment, actively, because some people aren't. Some people just phone in and say, "Look, I want to take a lot of pills," and you ask them, "Is there somebody there with you?" Yes. Or are you going to keep yourself safe till the ambulance gets there? Yes. However, sometimes in this case, geez, this guy was about to do it, and you keep them on the line, and there's no training for that chat. The script runs out, and then suddenly you're on the phone with somebody with a noose around their neck, or somebody with, they're holding a tea towel up to their wrists, or they're fading from all the pills. You don't know from all these calls, and then suddenly you're just there with them. In that sense, you're just a voice that's about the same way I'm a voice with you. But no, and then there's no training, because we're not the Samaritans. I mean, I think there has actually been training since I've left call handling behind, but I was on the phone with this guy for over an hour, and he thanked me at the end. He said it helped, said he didn't want to do it anymore. He regretted what he had done. And I never phoned him back. I've forgotten his name. It's something like that. Maybe he did kill himself the next night. Who knows? But in that, from what I can tell, I helped him that time. But different perception, the mindset you get into, because I had no intention of actually hurting myself, but that overwhelming weight of this will never go away. I don't know why this is happening. I am going to be a burden on everybody that knows me. I am a burden on everyone that knows me. That came on so fast. And then some of these people that phoned in, they've had this for years. So I hope and I believe I've got this early enough. And it was that sounds so weird, such a relief to find out that it is anxiety. I didn't think it was. But it presents in different ways, and like the doctor said, this is just how it viced and gripped onto that. So mental health, guys, basically, preach. Your mental health isn't your fault, okay? You can do everything in life right. You can go to your work, you can pay all your bills on time, you can try and do everything, you can aspire to be the best you can, and it can just get you. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, all right? And I'm preaching here. But your mental health is your responsibility. Okay? It is. I was lucky that I had Charlotte there to talk to me and be like, Lewis, I'm talking to you right now and I know this isn't you. I know something's wrong. Not everyone has that. Maybe you don't have that. But I'm telling you, if you're looking for a sign, this is your sign. If you're not feeling right, just reach out. Now, you want to get in touch with me, go right ahead, alright? There are other things. You got GPs and you got all these different phone lines and stuff like that. Even just Google what's on your mind, because there probably is a reason. And it doesn't make you sick. It's nothing's wrong with you. It's just, it comes out of nowhere. It's the same as like catching a cold. You can decontaminate every surface in your house, in your flat, in your car, at work, and then suddenly you still get the sniffles. That doesn't mean you're a dirty person. It was heavy. And, just this. Yeah. So again, there's a bunch of. I felt like I was bothering everybody as well, so I didn't reply to a bunch of WhatsApps and stuff. I've got a backlog of things, and I don't know how. I'm going to have to obviously explain to these folk, look, I'm sorry you messaged me a month ago and I've just not replied. So that's that, guys. That's where I've been. I'm sorry. I hope you've been okay. Alright, but check in on folk, because pretty crazy. Poor choice of words. So that's where I've been. That's where I've been. I'll tell you where I haven't been. I haven't been to London. The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, that was the next thing. That was the sort of recent thing, was I was going to go down to London, just to visit a friend. He's got a flat down there. I went down a few years ago, actually, because the guy's fucking nailing it. Owns a flat in London. Like, owns a flat? Jesus, I don't even own my car. And yeah, I was meant to go down. I was going to do some shopping, and all was good. We were going to go and see a show in the West, and just do London shit. And if you know me, you know I love Chinese food, and there's a Chinatown in London, so we're going to go for a Chinese dinner. And going to go and see Hercules on the West End, which is a Disney film I've always enjoyed. I watched it when it came out, and I've still got the cup at my parents' house that I got when it came out. Yeah, 1997. Yeah. Anyway, so I got to the airport, and if you're familiar with is it meteorology? The weather. We had a thing called Storm Amy not too long ago, and by God, was it windy. So my first sign should have been that my flight was delayed before the plane even arrived. That's fine. Cool. That happens at the time. Who knows? Maybe somebody, got in the way in London and delayed it coming up here. That's fine. Whatever. Cool. Charlotte drives me to the airport. Car's kind of all over the road. Not because of her driving, but because of the wind. She gets me there, and Charlotte had bought my ticket because she wanted to get rid of me. No, because for my 30th birthday, how old am I? Last year. Jesus. There's a cinema in London I was going to go to. But basically, she bought my flight because it was part of my birthday present. And so she was getting all the emails and texts and jazz like that. All she did was send me the boarding passes for my phone. You don't even get a ticket anymore. You just hold your phone up to like a little light and boom, and you go. So I got out of the car, kissed Charlotte goodbye, and as soon as I stuck my head out, fucking hat blew off my head, straight into a puddle. Splendid. Cool. So I picked it up, wrung it out, didn't put it back in my head, put it in my pocket. I guess I'll just deal with that for the fucking weekend then. Get into the airport and it's busy. Okay, cool. Last London flight of the day. It's gonna be busy. Go over, bing, scan through, get through. I'm standing in the security queue. People are going through. It's my turn. Belt's off in my hand because, people, if you know you're going to be doing it, don't do it when you get there. Take my time. Belt's in my hand. And everyone around me at the same time reaches to their pocket and pulls out their phone. Oh, alright. And then my phone in my pocket. Oh, fuck. Charlotte is phoning you. Hello? Hi, Liz. Hey, darling, what's up? I just got a message. Your flight's been cancelled. Oh, I see. Everyone around me's looking pissed off as well. Right, okay, yeah, no, I get it. So, I went over to the desk thing. The options were, okay, you can come back in the morning for this one. What time's that? 20 to 7. Yeah, can I get that one, please? No, it's fully booked. You just don't. Okay, so 8 seconds ago, okay, I'm assuming everybody had gone straight onto their app and, rebooked that one. What's the options for later in the day? Oh. There's one that leaves here at like 5 o'clock. Okay, it's in about 6, and you gotta get the train into London. And I had plans to go shopping. Basically, the shop would be closed by the time I got down, and then we were going to go for the Chinese, we were going to go to the theatre. So I just phoned my friend, and I was like, look, man, this just is not going to plan. And he was obviously gutted, I was gutted, but London never happened. So what did we do? Myself and Charlotte, the next night, we got a Chinese takeaway and watched Hercules on Disney+. So that was that. Yeah. But I think that's it for this week. Okay, so I say this week. That's what I've been up to. Not a terrific amount. I'm still working. I'm still alive and kicking. I'm still here. I'm going to take the wee dog for a walk now. I'm going to take my meds. I'm okay. I hope you're okay. If you're not, do something about it. Okay? Alright. And I'm going to go back to London at the start of November and bring Charlotte. And we're going to have a lovely time. Days at Mava Brown. Proper Mary Poppins. Right. Okay, so is that? Okay, now if you all get in touch, and I'm not lying, if you are having any kind of struggles, you can email me, or talk to a teacher or a policeman or whatever they used to say. Reach out to somebody. Alright. Catch it early. So as always, it's been a while. I'm going to thank Blackmill for the theme tune. I'm going to thank Cora for the artwork, for giving us the logo. Thank you both for your talents. Thank you, dear listener, for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for still being there. Thank you for coming back. Okay. And until next time, you be good to yourself. You look after each other. Don't take any shit. But just be good. Alright, I'll speak to you next time, guys. Bye for now.